Tell us a little bit about what you saw and being able to relay that message to Cora when you watched Kimbrel pitch and kind of help out so he wasn't tipping his pitches.
So tipping pitches, we hear about it all the time.
People at home understand what tipping pitches is all about.
It's amazing.
And that's remarkable.
Alex, it's the 2025 bingo card.
What?
We're so back.
We're so back.
Are you feeling the juice?
I am feeling the juice.
You feeling the energy?
Honestly, this has, and when I say has become, in the 1 year that we've done this, one of my favorite segments.
In the long storied history of doing this?
Yeah.
365 whole days?
Mm-hmm.
This is year 2. It can't become an annual tradition until you do it annually.
That's true.
This is what they say. So glad that you're here, live and in the flesh, to do the 2025 bingo card. Wouldn't have been the same if we had to do this one virtually.
Yeah.
It needs to have that little frisson in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that's the word I always come back to, but that is the only word that I can think of.
No, the energy's crackling in here.
It's crackling. Great one. We went to 2 concerts this week to prepare for this, just to feel out the vibe of what it feels like to create an artistic experience in one dedicated space.
Exactly.
And that's what we're going to do
here
today.
That's what we feel like we do every weekend when we sit down to record this podcast.
Create art.
Create art, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Before we can create that art, though, you have something to tell me about David Rubenstein?
Well, we maybe have an answer to one of the questions that has come up frequently on this podcast. And it was asked by none other than Dean Kramer, pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. Are you ready for this?
This could go a lot of ways.
You have a special thing in history. How do you acquire the Magna Carta?
I went to the auction hoping that somebody would overpay, and I wouldn't get it, but I got it. And I was bidding, and all of a sudden I started bidding, and the guy said, sold. I didn't know if anybody else was bidding against me. Maybe there was nobody else bidding, but I got it. And now I've given it to the National Archives where it is. It's the only one in private hands.
It's awesome.
Did it come with a case?
I built the case with the National Institute for Standards and Technology because I thought it needed to be really secure such that it's pretty indestructible. So I don't think anybody can probably break it.
I watched a lot of White Collar lately, and some people have some sticky hands.
Really?
What was the movie with Nicolas Cage? They stole the Declaration of Independence.
Oh,
National Treasure.
National Treasure.
So nobody can national treasure that thing.
I don't think so, but you never know. See, one of the advantages of putting something in the National Archives where it is I've got police around guarding it around the clock, and I'm not paying for it, so that's good. So I have police guarding it around the clock, and they've got people standing right by it, so it's pretty well protected. If it was in my house, I have to worry somebody's coming in and going to steal it, so I don't have to worry about that.
Smart man.
Okay, all right, okay. First of all, is this a Dean Kramer podcast?
So the Baltimore Orioles, I don't know if you've seen, but a lot of teams just are like content creators now, right?
Yeah.
You go to their YouTube channels and
they all
have
want
they have
what
like
we
vlogs.
have.
They do. So this comes courtesy of The Chill, which is a recurring interview series where members of the Orioles organization chill.
Okay.
And do a little and interview each other.
Here's
so
my note for you guys. A little more energy.
a little too chill. This was Dean
More like
Kramer.
the snooze.
Dean Kramer, Jordan Westberg, and David Rubenstein asking the questions that need to be asked, frankly.
Can I be real with you?
Yeah.
You just played that from your laptop, and I was only listening to it. I wasn't watching what their facial expressions looked like. That could have been done with AI. That sounded like it was sort of AI recreated voices, but I don't know if they have enough voice data on Jordan Westberg to create an AI version of his voice. So I'm going to have to, I have no choice but to believe that that was a real clip.
Rubenstein responding to anything.
We got police all around it.
So no one's going to national treasure it. Probably not.
Well,
but
hold on.
maybe.
Backtrack a second. You shouldn't be able to host content if you can't think of national treasure at the drop of a hat.
I agree. They had to look off camera to one of the producers to prompt them.
Baseball,
Shameful.
dude.
Shameful.
This reminds me of the Brooklyn Nets Letterboxd video. Did you see this?
Yeah.
As professional athletes, especially ones who are like 23 now, they have never seen a movie before.
No.
Like, get in the theater, guys. You have a whole off season.
Literally.
And that's when famously a lot of the best movies of the year come out.
Yeah, get off the golf course, man.
Jeez. I want to know out there, if you're a professional baseball player who listens to this podcast, or you're a retired professional baseball player who listens to this podcast, and you're not specifically Trevor Hildenberger, I want to know who is a real movie guy out there in the world. Because I know Trevor is.
Yeah.
But I want to know other guys who actually know ball when it comes to film, who know real.
I know John Axford, who's now retired.
Yeah.
Was a huge cinephile.
Okay. We're really reaching now.
It's like
John Axford.
Last played in like 2015, maybe.
Solid reliever, though. He had a good career.
Did have a good career. Yeah.
Really good career. Wasn't there another one who was a big cinephile when we did the gentrification team? There was another one, right? Or maybe there was someone who lived in a van.
there was someone who lived. That was Daniel Norris.
Oh, yeah, that is. So I'm thinking of Axford was the movie guy.
Yeah.
Which baseball player is most likely to run into us, or we are most likely to run into them? We run into each other. It's a mutual thing. At Metrograph. If we can't answer this question, do we need to stop doing this podcast?
Well, according to Jordan Schusterman, it might be Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah. Oh, great call.
What was the movie that?
No, that wasn't Jordan Schusterman. That was Noah Colwin. Told us the story that he was at the premiere of Endgame or something like that. I don't. No, Star Wars. Dude, we can't even remember what was said on our own podcast.
No, or who said it. My apologies to Noah Colwin, and I take back everything I said about Jordan.
Jordan hasn't seen more than 3 movies in the last 3 years, so that was raising a red flag in my brain.
I met someone the other day who said they haven't been to a movie theater since before the pandemic.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
And maybe it sounds like he could play for the Baltimore Orioles.
What's that movie? The one where they steal the Declaration of Independence? What's the line from that movie? Oh, yeah. I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence. Excellent film. One of my biggest professional regrets is not strong-arming Sean and Amanda into putting that into Nicolas Cage's Hall of Fame when we built the Nick Cage Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And they just didn't
Raising
get it.
Arizona.
No, that needs to go in there. Too.
Let's
not be crazy.
I know.
Let's not be crazy.
It's a great film.
That's a 5-star masterpiece. Coen brothers. They don't miss when they work together.
Nope.
They do miss sometimes when they work separately. I don't need to say any more about that. Okay. Well, we have a fun pod in store for you. We are going to build our 2025 bingo card, which is how we have now decided to preview the Major League Baseball season. We retired the all gift draft. We sent it out to a life beyond the podcast.
To the little internet upstate.
And it's having a nice time out there. I hear from it occasionally, send beach vacation photos. And we have replaced it with the bingo card, where we are going to predict 24 things and 1 free space to fill a 5x5 bingo card that we can all collectively fill out as the season progresses. You can play along at home. We will have our own show version of the bingo card that we will be sharing on social media. And then we will also have a link that's in the description that you can follow to create your own version of the bingo card with those same events and play along with everybody else. Whoever hits bingo first, they get a free piece of merch. Or maybe they'll get something different this year. We haven't actually talked about that.
Reach out. Tell us what you want.
Before we get to all of that, I am Bobby Wagner.
I am Alex Baisley.
And you are listening to Tipping Pitches. Thank you to this week's new patrons. A lot of new patrons this week, Alex. Bear with me. Denton, Jeremy, Mikey, Jason, Asher, Shane, and Joey. Joey, just in the nick of time. You signed up right before we started recording. Wrote your name, penned you in there right at the last second. Congratulations, Joey. Thank you all for signing up. Speaking of the Patreon, Alexander. Remember that was a bit that we did a couple weeks ago with the formal names?
What's up, Robert?
Still just doesn't feel right.
No.
I'm going in the other direction. I'm going to Bob.
I know.
And maybe you should go to Al? Bob and Al?
Sounds like we run like a 1950s furniture shop or something like that.
Bob and Al's Furniture?
Right, yeah.
You're just saying that because of Al's Toy Barn from Toy Story.
Oh, it's possible.
Speaking of the Patreon, we have been running a fundraiser, and we will be running it through April. I have talked about this many times on the podcast now. Frankly, I don't think I'm getting better at describing
I don't
what
think
it
you
is.
are either. Yeah.
But that's all right. You know, we just So we beat on Boats Against the Current,
Mm-hmm.
explaining what we're doing on the podcast.
That's right, F. Scott.
It's just the one line we keep coming back to.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy what hits when you're like 15 and just never leaves your brain. We're raising money for You Can Play, which is an organization dedicated to increasing accessibility for LGBTQ youth to play sports. This is something that really matters a lot to us in this moment right now, where particularly trans kids are under attack for their identity. We wanted to take the beginning of the season as a moment to try and raise money. So we'll be dedicating all of our proceeds from the month of April on the Patreon towards that fundraiser. So once we get that payout, we'll add that in to the total. And then we're also asking folks who are listening right now to help out too, and to raise money there's a GoFundMe link in the description of this podcast, as well as we've been circulating it on social media. We've already raised $1,460. Thank you to everyone who has donated. Some people with some very generous donations. That means so much. And that's before even accounting for what we're going to add from the Patreon. So let's keep that going. It's not even April yet when we're doing the fundraiser.
Right,
we're doing some pre-work here. This is more prep than we do for the pod. In conjunction with that, if you are a listener who is not a patron and you donated $12 or more, or you intend to donate $12 or more, please share the receipt with us, and we will give you, if you would like, a code to get 1 free month of our Patreon, because $12 is the top tier. So you'll get a code to sign up for 1 free month at the top tier. That means you get access to all of our back catalog of bonus episodes, all the newsletters that we have written intermittently over the years, all of that good stuff over on the Patreon. You will also be able to get part 2 of the Power Hour, which is what we are going to kick the month of April off with, the first episode of the regular season, and a celebration of my birthday, Alex. Turned 29. Just 1 year closer to 30, 1 year closer to death. I'm feeling good about it, though, as you could probably tell.
Yeah.
We're doing a Power Hour again. Dedicated listeners will remember the last time we did this, it went swimmingly. It was so much fun. And that means we are answering 60 of your questions in 60 minutes and taking 60 sips of alcoholic beverages along the way. Most likely Pacifico would be my choice, but you can drink whatever you want. You're a big IPA guy? That'd be tough.
That would be tough.
In the Power Hour context.
We opted not to do that last time.
Correct. We went with a Mexican lager instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I love a Pacifico. No free ads. Please, Pacifico, if you're listening, come on, send it over. We did actually try to get the beer sponsored last time. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Didn't work out.
Nope.
Boy can dream. And part 2 of that Power Hour, where we continue powering and houring inebriated on the mic, and it'll go fun places. That'll be on the Patreon. So again, you donate, you get free access to the Patreon. If you're already a patron, you're going to get that episode. You could also still donate, just because it's a cause that we all care about here in this community, I have to assume. I think that's everything I got.
Yeah.
Enough throat clearing. Now it's time to predict the rest of the season. Are you ready to do that?
I'm ready to do this. We killed it last year. We set the bar
too high.
Very high for ourselves.
Yeah.
But we've got some good ones up our sleeve this year.
I continue to feel amazing about the bingo card that we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out way better than I could have ever anticipated. We did phenomenal work. This year, probably going to be a letdown. But you're already here listening, so you might as well not turn the pod off.
You're already here listening. And I just want to say, if you find any of these lines on betting sites, you can combine them together and create.
Nope.
And create.
Nope, you can't.
And create.
Not allowed. Not allowed. A chain bet.
A chain bet.
You ever think about how self-referential the pod has become? Like, if someone misses one episode, it's like a lot of people have been talking now because of the video of this influencer with the Saratoga water and the dipping his face in the ice bath and the banana peel. It's just like people are making a lot of jokes. You have to infer a lot with those items, having seen the video. And
if you miss the original text,
right? If you miss one day,
incomprehensible.
If I miss one day on this app, I miss all the good jokes.
Yeah.
That's kind of how listening to this pod is.
Yeah.
You got to be here every day, every week.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, we ask you to do the work.
Tune in. What did the Beatles say in that song? Tune in, turn off, switch on.
Obla-dee, obla-da.
All right, let's start. Okay, quick recap of last year's bingo card. And we are going to roll over two things that did not happen during last year's bingo card into this year's bingo card. So we're I think we call that a double down in the betting world. We're doubling down on two things that didn't happen last year and probably won't happen again, but they could. They could. And if they did, we would be legends. All right, here was last year's bingo card. Here are all of the things that hit on last year's bingo card. The Oakland Athletics turn their replies on social media. A team gets wrapped up in a culture war. Jerry Dipoto news cycle. Players suspended for betting. MLB releases a, quote, new way to engage with the game. LeBron James tweets about Shohei Ohtani.
Still got those noties on.
Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman go back to back to back home runs.
Insane.
Can't believe it. My greatest called shot of all time. Prestige magazine profile of an owner. We kind of stretched on that one, but it's okay. That was the Financial Times that we included, but we put it to a poll. MLBPA files an official grievance. Layup. Dave Cavill resignation. Crushed it.
Easy.
Climate event disrupts games. Sitting politician gets booed at a game. And the @MLB Twitter account, that's now X, the everything app, tweets out, that's now posts out, betting lines. Those are all the things that we predicted. Oh, wait, I missed one. MLB Umpires Association releases a statement. Those are all the things that we correctly predicted last year. Here are all of the things that we predicted, but that did not hit. Alex Rodriguez tries to buy a team. Tony Clark or Harry Marino comes on the podcast. Juiced ball controversy. Owner donates to RFK. Braves acquire or extend a young player. Can't believe that didn't hit. I would have said there's like 85% chance. Senator calls for the revocation of the antitrust exemption. Joe Biden, he was the president, not sure if you remember that, messes up a Rangers player's name. Joe Biden messes up a Rangers player name. I'm messing up the
that was good.
I'm messing up the card, the tile here. Team gets sold, and then the two that we are rolling over into next year, those two, Alex, are David Rubenstein buys a new historical document. Could be anything. Doesn't have to be another Magna Carta. Doesn't have to be the Bill of Rights.
Nope.
Doesn't have to be the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah, let's get a little Treaty of Versailles in here.
Ooh, Treaty of Versailles. What war did that end?
The 1812 war.
And who was that between? 18 and 12? Okay, and then the other thing that we are rolling over into this year's bingo card is my favorite phrase in the English language. That's going to be Pete Ricketts campaign finance scandal.
I think we're only including this one because you get such a kick out of just reading that every single time. The prospect of it even happening is enough to buoy us through the rest of the year.
So if you don't know, the Ricketts family owns the Cubs. It was passed down to the three children, the main children, the top three children, the power ranked top three children of the Ricketts family. That is,
yeah. Let's see. Can you do it?
I don't know the sister's name.
Wow.
Misogyny
Don't
strikes
respect
again.
a girl boss, I guess.
On the intolerant left. What is her name? She's not really involved with the team.
No,
and she doesn't hold elected office.
Right.
So cut me some slack here.
So do you know the control person?
Tom.
Yes.
It's actually not fun when I know it now.
I know.
It's funnier when I get it wrong.
I agree.
But we're all about transparency here, so I'm not going to fake get it wrong.
Laura Ricketts.
Man, that was up there somewhere.
And she's the lib of the family.
Okay. She's the Shiv Roy.
Yes, literally.
Wait. Okay. Many such cases. All right. So Tom is the control person. Laura is the lib. And that leaves Pete, who's the governor of Kansas. Kansas?
It's not even Kansas.
It's not?
Nope. Do you know what it is?
That was a test.
Uh-huh.
That was a test. It is Iowa.
Okay. Keep going.
I really thought it was Kansas. Is it Missouri?
Nope.
Am I close?
Typical coastal elite talking right now. I don't know.
So to be clear, you know what the state is. You just don't know where it is.
Right.
I've been to all those states except Iowa. I need your help. What's the first letter?
N.
Nebraska.
There you go. Yes.
God, I really thought it was Kansas. I had that in my mind. Alas, maybe he has dreams to move to Kansas and become governor of that state. He's assembling Midwest state governorships like Infinity Stones.
This is, you know what? The campaign has to start somewhere.
So he's actually a real politician, and a real politician in America means he's done some shady campaign finance shit. So I predicted last year perhaps the story would break that he had some kind of campaign finance scandal. And I wanted that to happen so bad that I'm not willing to part with that dream just yet. Because if it does happen and it's not on the bingo card, I'll never be able to forgive myself. So you can just chalk it up. You can just pencil it in next year. It's going on the 2026 bingo card as well until it happens. I'm going to this is what they say when they mean manifest.
Manifest, yeah.
Right. Okay. So those are the first two items of the 2025 bingo card. We've kicked it off in earnest. I turn it over to you, Alex. What is the first new thing that we are adding to the Tipping Pitches 2025 season preview bingo card?
A player has a raw milk related IL stint.
Oh, dude.
This is our first new item on the 2025 bingo card.
To me, this is a layup.
This is a layup.
This is coming.
We talked about this with our friend Tom Payne over on 10,000 Losses last week.
Yeah. This was the most normal thing we ended up talking about.
It is the most normal thing and the most baseball related thing we talked about as well.
Nah, dude, I was talking about the Phillies rotation for like a good 90 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. As soon as we saw the Bryce Harper TikTok, it was over.
Yeah, this was going on.
There's no way he's the only baseball player who has partaken in this trend.
This is why we have editors when we write. Tense.
Right.
It's tough.
I need spell check. Verbal spell check.
Well, I have ChatGPT listening in on this conversation, just giving
Okay,
notes. It tells me what I'm getting, what is like really funny and what's not that funny.
Sorry, this response is actually outside of the bounds of my abilities.
I've still never
Do you want me to try again?
I've still never used AI, except for one time I did use DALL-E in its early phase to make me a photo of Rob Manfred as a communist.
Yeah. Honestly, I think we all, for the first time like DALL-E dropped, it was like, what's the craziest thing we can create on here?
And I thought Rob Manfred as a communist. Wave the banner, Rob. And by the banner, I don't mean World Series banner. I mean the hammer and sickle. Big dog, come aboard. All you have to lose are your chains. And look, he retired.
Yeah.
So I assume to pursue a life of communism.
I consider myself a Marxist, Leninist, Manfredist. I always have.
That's not really got me. Okay, it's squarely right in the Venn diagram of my sense of humor. So raw milk.
Raw milk.
I mean, this makes people sick, and more baseball players, like per capita, drink this than like the rest of the population.
Yes.
So you would have to assume, statistically speaking, everything I know about statistics, and that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. You'd have to assume this is kind of actually likely.
Yes.
Great.
I like, how much say do you think the teams, like trainers and doctors, have in this? Like, are
None,
you like,
dude.
Bryce, look, I know how good it tastes. I get it. But buddy, like,
It probably does taste good.
it probably does. Yes.
I have a coworker who's had raw milk, and she was like, "It was delicious."
I'm sure.
I don't think the trainers have any say.
Okay.
You ever heard of life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness?
Not
Number one
here.
Have you ever heard of the Major League Baseball collective bargaining agreement? It actually very specifically says what the teams can and cannot tell them to do with their bodies in training and nutrition. Remember? That was an addendum that I read through and talked a lot about protein.
For sure. Okay. Yeah.
You don't remember this?
I do vaguely
This was
remember
on our
this.
CBA deep dive pod.
But you're telling me that if a player was consuming a substance that was known to be medically harmful,
Unless it's steroids, I don't think that the team can do anything
that's
about it.
awesome.
It's not part of the joint drug agreement.
I love it.
They don't agree to be tested for raw milk.
You're right.
Nor should they, frankly. And this is something I'm actually dropping the bit. This is something I actually believe.
Yeah.
I think you should be able to eat whatever you want
Yeah.
in the comfort of your own home, in the privacy of your own kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Eat whatever you want.
Yeah. Don't bread on me.
You're getting good with the puns.
Thanks.
Last
Last night you said, I think we should retire puns.
No, I said I think we should have a moratorium on
Oh,
puns.
okay. Just until we figure
Retiring
out-
them is too much.
Yeah.
moratorium until we can figure out what they're doing with like the New York City street chalkboard pun situation.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's doing a little much for me.
That's a cottage industry that can go away.
I passed a sign that said, "We have come in and try one of our irresistibles," and I was like, "Yeah.
That's just also like not
Why I left
really
New York
a
City
place-
for the Atlantic."
for the Atlantic Ocean. That's why I left New York City to
I mean, they're testing me. When I lived in LA, I used to say, one of these days I'm just going to get fed up and I'm going to drive my car into the ocean. All right? I don't feel that way about the Atlantic, but they're challenging me.
Mm-hmm.
They're challenging me.
What's next on the bingo card?
Okay. Speaking of things you put into your body, fast food is something you could put into your body, frankly. I do.
You could, and
You
I
do?
do. Mm-hmm.
And I often enjoy it. A team other than the New York Mets uses a fast food mascot to throw out a first pitch. Now, I haven't done the research. I would venture to guess this happens in a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you Ronald McDonald threw out a lot of first pitches in his day. You know, the singular Ronald McDonald. There's only one. I'll bet we got a person dressed up as the Chick-fil-A cow throwing out first pitches at some point in Major League Baseball history. Wendy? Is that her name? From Wendy's? Wendy of Wendy's name?
I would assume, yeah.
Wendy of Wendy's fame. But this is obviously specifically in reference to Grimace, who threw out the first pitch and saved the Mets season last year. I think other teams will probably want to glom onto that trend. And just another example of how the Mets dictate the direction of culture.
Ronald McDonald is a creepy looking motherfucker.
Well, you're afraid of clowns.
Something like that.
What else are you afraid of?
Heights, death,
Big one for me.
imposter syndrome, being exposed as a fraud, and obviously my own campaign finance scandal.
Well, yeah. You are afraid of being exposed as a fraud, yet you decided to co-host a podcast with me. So would you say this is immersion therapy? Can we write this off?
Kind of.
Can we put this on an FSA? Can I put a new mic on an FSA? Answer that for me. All right. I think that this one's pretty straightforward. Fast food mascot throws out a first pitch. All right. What's next?
Next
Gotta
one.
move through these, you know?
We do, yeah.
We got 24 of them, famously.
A Major League Baseball team does a crypto-related promotion. I feel like we have dabbled in this before, right?
You've certainly dabbled in crypto.
Oh, I've dabbled. I've dabbled.
I always thought it was weird that you brought like a second monitor with you to do this podcast, but when I realized that was you were tracking meme stocks and crypto coins on that second monitor, it made a lot more sense.
Well, I'm mining Bitcoin on. I can't close it otherwise.
Nah, dude, my internet's not good enough for you to mine Bitcoin here anymore.
That's what
I
you
used
think.
to have.
My mining is the reason your internet isn't good enough.
No, dude, I used to have the Verizon gigabit connection.
Yeah, you did.
FiOS at my old apartment, and now I moved to the new one and I have the 5G one, and it's fucking whack. Fat L. Zoran, put fiber optic cables
so that I can mine crypto in my Brooklyn apartment.
I'm a one-issue voter. I don't know what else to tell you.
I can't wait for Doge Night at Tropicana Field.
Yeah, this is just like the death rattle of crypto.
Yeah.
I think that and this is one of the last venues where it's not falling on deaf ears. Sports owners. Or like sports marketing executives. This will happen. I mean, several of the teams like stadiums are named after crypto.
They've had like crypto or blockchain related partnerships before. I do think we see like a giveaway or promotional night, like something like very clearly targeted towards getting crypto people in the ballpark. And I, for one, will be there.
I will too, but more as like when they send someone from the New Yorker to write like a 10,000 word piece on like APAC.
Right.
That's how I'm going to go to the ballpark. All right. My next one, sticking with the first pitch theme, getting all these out of the way early. Jose Andres, the restaurateur and celebrity chef, will throw out the first pitch at a Major League Baseball game, most likely the Washington Nationals. Some of you, keen listeners of the podcast, will remember in the past when the Nationals decided to have Jose Andres throw out the first pitch instead of any number of other politicians who might have thrown out the first pitch at a baseball game who might get that opportunity in an otherwise normal world that we're not living in anymore. And the Nats have decided that their liberal hero is chef and restaurateur Jose Andres. And so I think they're going to run this one back. Democracy dies in darkness. We must let Jose Andres bounce one to home plate at Nats Park. And I'm not even mad.
I'm not mad about it either. He does, as you said, I think he's probably more deserving than most of the people who are throwing out first pitches these days.
Totally agree. Hawk Tua threw out a first pitch for the Mets last year, bro.
How's she doing?
I actually don't even want to speculate because I think there's a lot of people who are like, we haven't heard from her in a long time. So let's just keep it moving.
Well, okay. So do you want to announce our next guest then right now?
We now speak with, her name's Haley Welch.
I do know that. Okay. Yeah. Because
Haley.
Yeah.
How would you spell that?
Hailey.
That's how I might.
Yeah.
Or Haley.
Uh-huh.
Or even Hayley.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Haley Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're listening.
Nice Paramore shirt.
Thank you. I should find the Paramore poster, have it framed, and put it in this fucking studio, by the way. Anyway, she spells it, or rather her parents spelled it. Haleyey. Just gonna let that one.
Is that true?
Google it, bro.
I've looked at her name so much. It's on my timeline so much.
This is like people who didn't realize that Dwayne Wade's name is spelled Dwyane.
Wow. That just, my brain, I saw the H and the Y, and I just kind of filled in the middle.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
I
only can say this so confidently because I felt exactly what you're feeling when I realized this.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Do you want to do the rest?
I gotta
do the rest.
I gotta get out
tomorrow?
of here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Just what's next? Jose Andres, first pitch.
The one. This is the one I'm looking forward to most, frankly, is the John Boy pro labor pivot. It's coming. 2025 is the year.
All right. What do you mean by this?
He sees the light.
What do you mean by this? Burn it all down.
I think it's going to be gradual.
Like a baseball version of the abundance movement. What do you think?
Right. Famously abundance pro labor.
I got to be careful what I say about abundance. That's all I'll say.
I don't. I'll talk about it all day long.
Knock yourself out. Like people put out retweets are not endorsements. What Alex says on the podcast about things are not endorsements by me. Some things I do endorse, some things I don't. You don't know which.
That's true. But I think the listeners operate under the assumption that we endorse everything each other says.
Nope.
Well, I don't endorse your lack of endorsement.
On my bingo card.
That's not recognized.
Later that's coming up is us arguing more on the podcast.
Okay, great.
Just kidding.
I think this is the year that we finally see John Boy start calling people out for like carrying waters for ownership,
Multiple waters. Saratoga brand?
I don't know the form it's going to come in. There are a lot of conflicting personalities over there. So I think I'm talking about Jimmy specifically. All right. That's Jimmy John Boy.
Jimmy O'Brien, right?
Yeah. right.
What are you laughing about? I'm just saying his name.
No,
His name's Jimmy O'Brien. John Boy. As known as John Boy. Also known as. That's what AKA stands for? Also known as? As known as is not right. It felt wrong coming out of the mouth. The wrong grip on that pitch. Let me get another shot.
John Boy pro labor pivot. I don't know what to tell you.
No. I totally see this. As soon as I saw you put it on the list, I was like, this is beautiful. I love it. In the same way that like a lot of just guys on the internet who have never thought critically about all that many things in society and the way that things function are sort of like, man, Bernie was making some points.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like that, but for baseball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, cool. This is good.
Yeah. John Boy, just pay the man. It's not your money.
Yo, if John Boy starts stealing our memes, I mean, I did say that I wanted to start more feuds.
The Cold War might be over, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Who do you think has amassed more of a nuclear arsenal?
Are you saying you want to drop your John Boy content nuke right now? I know you've been putting together a video.
Yeah, I'm going to take his corner as the guy who reads lips probably wrong on YouTube.
All right. What's your next bingo?
Another 40-40 season.
Nice.
So for a long time, 40-40 season was like the holy grail of interesting. It had only been done 4 times by 4 of the best players in baseball history. And I mean, now it has only been done 6 times. And the 2 players that we added, I will say, are totally worthy of the club of guys that had done it before. Those 2 guys, of course, being Ronald Acuna Jr., who had a 40-80 season, 40-70, I think.
Yeah.
And then Shohei Ohtani, who had a 50-50 season. 2 of the craziest seasons in MLB history. Honestly, though, guys are getting close. Bobby Witt Jr. could get there. Julio could probably do it if he steals more bases. There's a number of guys in the game right
Gunnar
now.
Henderson, sleeper.
How many steals? I
think he stole 21 last year, so he'd have to like get that number up.
Yeah. I just think of him as just like a big guy.
I know.
And big guys stealing bases are big injury risks.
But he just put up like an 11 WAR season in my out of the park simulation, so I'm all in on him this year.
All right, cool. All right, book it.
All right.
Just make it, if you are going to book it with your local bookie and or betting app, just make sure it's only a singular bet.
Or a chain bet.
No, not a chain.
No,
That's banned.
I thought, but chain bets are okay. It's specifically.
Stop. Stop. Gunnar Henderson is amazing. You know, Bobby Witt Jr. had a 10 WAR season last year.
Sure. Okay.
You know how few guys have had a 10 WAR season? Like, they could all probably stand in this room. It'd be packed, but they could stand in this room with us right now.
And he's going to have multiple.
I know. And the
How
amount
old
of
is he,
guys.
like 24?
Yeah. Yeah, he's crazy good.
That's awesome.
I don't
by
know.
the way, you guys soak this in. This is all the baseball talk on this episode.
No, that's not true. There's more coming up. I don't know if it will be Bobby Witt Jr. I'm just predicting that someone else will do 40-40 with the lax rules about, with the rules that have been changed to incentivize base stealing. Number 1. Number 2, no one has a good move over to first anymore, really, unless you're like 35 or older, because you just don't have to. Because as you were being developed, everybody stopped stealing, and so you stopped having to learn how to prevent them from stealing. And not just with your pickoff move, but also just with your disposition towards controlling the running game. It's just not something in the last 20 years of baseball development that people have given a shit about. So I think the conditions are ripe for a lot of 40-40 seasons. To be clear, I don't think this is a good thing. I liked it better when it was just like this very exclusive club and guys could get close and not get into it. But I think over the next 10 years, we're going to have a few of these.
All that being said, I agree with that. I think they're going to become more common. I think it's cool that players are stealing bases again.
Oh, I mean, definitely.
I think like yes, the
Lawrence Butler 40-40 season.
I mean, Ellie De La Cruz 40-40 season.
That's actually a really good candidate.
You know, and like maybe not next year.
40 home runs would be a lot for him.
40 home runs would be a lot. But he's the kind of guy who I could see doing something like that in his career.
Lindor?
Mm.
No, he won't hit 40 home runs and he won't steal 40 bases. I think he had 30 last year or 30-25, something like that. I don't know. That's not really a thing. It's just a good season.
Right.
So it doesn't matter who it is, that's going on the bingo card. All right, what's next?
The Oakland A's stadium debut is delayed. We are targeting
the Oakland A's stadium, which is a very real thing that's definitely going to happen. By the way.
This is the Las Vegas Strip Stadium for the sorry. Oh my God. Did you hear what I just called them?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. The A's. Wow. I need to take a break.
That's just athletics to you.
Right. Athletic Stadium timeline is delayed. They're looking at 2028 right now. Rob Manfred a few weeks ago came out and said,
them and everyone else are looking forward to 2028.
Yeah, that's for sure. He came out and said they're going to be on time. It's going to happen. I am skeptical, not for any particular reason. I don't know why I would be skeptical that this would take longer than they say it's going to. Because usually when I think you can oftentimes take owners and management at face value.
And you could definitely set your watch to the behavior of John Fisher.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
This one feels pretty straightforward.
It does feel very straightforward.
I would be surprised if it didn't get delayed.
Yeah.
Okay. Bear with me here. the 8th new addition to the Tipping Pitches preseason bingo card. We will have a foreign substance scandal and or suspension involving the nicotine product Zyn. The Zyn pouch. It's in vogue right now.
Mm-hmm. This is fast. Can you explain to me what you think this like scandal would look like?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Your face tells me you know exactly what it will look like.
I've thought a lot about this.
Yep. Hey, we're 1 for 1 on predicting scandals in the last year, so.
No, we're 1 for 2 because campaign finance scandal.
Fuck. You're right. All right.
I just think you're not allowed to put any other foreign substance on the baseball, and Zyn is weird and nasty, and you could, in theory, you could combine it with rosin in your hand. You take, I was just taking out the Zyn pouch, but actually you're putting in something somewhere it's not supposed to be, or a fan base is like, what's that in his mouth? Doesn't know what a Zyn pouch is. They think he has some sort of extra sticky chewing gum in there or something like that, but really it's just a Zyn pouch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're just going to see Zyn on a broadcast and there's going to be some sort of impropriety associated with it. Yeah. That's my prediction.
I 100% agree with this. It is not going to surprise me when we see like a player running in from the outfield and you can see the little circle pouch in his back pocket.
Yeah.
If that hasn't already happened, actually.
Oh, I mean, how would you even be able to tell whether it's a Zyn pouch or a Skull pouch,
Or a what?
Skull? You don't know about Skull?
That's
like a chewing tobacco brand.
Oh, okay.
It was like everybody who like tried to get into chewing tobacco.
Oh, that's what you were having when I came in. Okay. I wasn't sure.
I would never. I would never.
Can you imagine if I had to like lean off mic every few seconds so that I could spit into my little...
Honestly, you're joking, but I can't imagine it because it was just around me my whole childhood.
All right.
Not like my family, but like all my baseball coaches, I didn't grow up in liberal Berkeley like you, bro. I grew up with the real fucking heart and soul of America. Spitting into a water bottle or used chewing tobacco. All right. This was sort of inspired by the Eagles defensive coordinator who sat up in the booth and they would sometimes cut to him if they were talking about the Eagles defense or whatever. And in one game, they cut to him and sitting right next to him was just a huge thing of Zyn.
Yeah.
And then everybody screenshotted it and was passing it around. And they were like, oh, he has Zyn. Everybody loves Zyn now. That's all anyone wants to talk about. Gen Z and their freaking Zyn,
God.
Just go back to cigarettes like a real generation.
Seriously.
Don't actually do that. It's not a good idea. I don't suggest anybody take up tobacco or nicotine products if they haven't already. And just because it looks cool in Wong Kar-wai movie. A lot of things look cool in Wong Kar-wai movies. Arguably everything looks cool in a Wong Kar-wai movie. It's not an endorsement. That's art.
I will endorse it.
All right, what's next?
Next one, Major League Baseball partners in some capacity with the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund.
This is dark. I mean, we've been predicting this on the pod for a while.
We have, to some degree.
We got a mailbag question once about how long do we think it'll be before a foreign government has some sort of financial influence on Major League Baseball.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this one is probably a little aggressive in its timeline. I think we might have a couple more years, but
weeks where decades happen.
Yeah, seriously. But my suggestion is also not that, they're going to just buy a baseball team or something like that. I do think like we are years out from an international conglomerate, let alone the Saudis, buying a baseball team. We are far closer to them developing some sort of partnership, whether it's bringing current players over there to like play
Goodwill tour
series or something. Goodwill
like
tour,
they did in Japan back in the day.
Well, they have already they already have the UAE Baseball United League, which features plenty of former major league players. So it doesn't feel like a stretch for them to be like, hey, what is working out really well is the Live Golf Tour. What is really great is FIFA. There are no issues with anything that involves like international financial influence or anything like that.
Not that I am aware of.
I haven't.
I've heard of nothing.
I'm not familiar with that.
No.
So anyway, that's the prediction.
That's a good prediction. I don't think it's that long of a shot, but it is one of our longer shots.
Yeah.
I'll pull the curtain back a little bit here. We tried to have a nice, healthy mix of things that were like, this is definitely going to happen, and things that are like, if this happened, it would be an incredible called shot. And then a bunch of stuff kind of on that spectrum, on that scale in between, so that it actually feels like bingo,
right.
So that we don't hit it in the first month or not hit it at all. But these things are unpredictable in their own ways. These are real predictions we're making here. All right. In that same vein, let's just get it all out of the way. Let's lay it all out on the table. Number 10, Rob Manfred will meet with Donald Trump. That's it. Nothing else to say about that. Let's move on past that.
All right, great.
He's going to do it.
I know, if he is not already.
Right. To be clear, I will expand on it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think this has to be like a meeting that is known about by the media and talked about. Not like a phone call, not like a in passing, Trump is at a game or whatever. This has to be like we're meeting to talk about issues.
Yeah.
Don't know what those issues are yet. I don't have that much foresight. I just think they will meet because Rob is a shrewd political operator.
He is a shrewd political operator. It wouldn't surprise me for Trump to have some sort of sports summit where he invites all the like leaders of all the major U.S. sports or something like that.
I would pay thousands of dollars to be in attendance for that.
I would love nothing more, honestly.
Oh my God! Like, what are the power dynamics there?
Jesus.
Who has the most sway? Who has the most aura in that room?
Yeah.
Quick power ranking. Quick. All right, here we go. In that room, in the political context of America at this moment, who has the most sway? Goodell, number 1. Obviously, we're leaving out the president of the United States. I'm talking about just the commissioner that I'm ranking here. Goodell, number 1, with a bullet.
Yeah.
2, Rob. 3, Bettman, dead last. 50 feet of shit from the same pile of shit from Moneyball. Adam Silver.
Yes, without a doubt.
He's getting dunked on repeatedly in that room.
Yes.
Tough for him.
I think Manfred comes out of it looking good. Like in his own eyes, I think he comes out of that and is like, I handled that well. I'm the steward of my sport.
He's an apolitical guy. He
Yeah,
goes where the wind takes him.
Famously, apolitical means just making decisions based on the most recent political happenings.
Right. To him, apolitical is like lobbying more.
Right. Just respond to everything and then you never actually have to give a position.
Okay, next.
Alex Rodriguez,
our beloved
fitness startup. I am not sold on whether or not this is going to be an investment that he makes, or whether it will be a startup that he personally launches with his partner Jacqueline Fit.
Yeah,
I assume that's her last name,
Jacqueline Fit.
Or Jacqueline Fitness.
She's so cool.
Yeah.
God, I want her to be my personal trainer. Jacqueline Fit, come on down to Blink Fitness.
This feels overdue, frankly. Workout with A-Rod?
You mean like we could work out with him?
Well, no, I mean like
Cameo, but for working out.
But you know how like they have the like Nike apps where you can do you do this person's like routine or whatever.
Yes,
but it's just Alex Rodriguez on your little pre-recorded videos where he's like, all right, now we're gonna do 20
liquor. Ladies
and leverage.
You know what you need for this lift? Leverage.
Do you think A-Rod has rubbed banana peel on his face before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think A-Rod has done everything in that video.
I completely agree.
Okay. Good one. So this, to be clear, we can check this one off if he invests in a fitness startup, if he launches a fitness startup, if he endorses it, publicizes it. What does he have to do? Does he have to commit money to it? I just want to know what the bar that we have to clear is here, because last year one thing that did happen was we would check things off, but we would be like, does this really count, or are we waiting for something better? So I want to know kind of what the terms
I think
engagement are here.
I think endorsement does not count in my book. I want him to have like a vested long-term financial stake in this,
He owns a percentage of it.
Exactly.
Okay, next up. Steve Cohen, Uncle Stevie, the hedge fund king himself, donates money to any opponent of Zoran Mamdani, our preferred mayoral candidate for New York City. And frankly, I think that makes him Steve Cohen's least preferred mayoral candidate for New York City. Steve Cohen and I see eye to eye on many things involving the New York Mets and basically nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the fact that I like Zoran and you like Zoran means that Steve doesn't.
Probably.
And he would rather have literally anybody who lives in New York City to be mayor than this one person. So I feel pretty confident about this one. Now, what I don't feel confident about is like being able to tell whether or not this actually happens. Because we had one with political donations last time. And I know you can look all that stuff up on Open Secrets, at least when it comes to presidential campaigns, but mayoral campaigns, a little bit harder. Maybe you're in those weeds.
So far, the only...
Yes, I know that there was the publicized endorsement numbers from the first round where the city matches the endorsements.
Right.
But it's a little bit more unclear the dark money ways that you can donate to influence a mayoral race than the presidential race.
Yeah. Although, you know who's on that spreadsheet, because I looked, is Randy Levine, president of the New York Yankees.
Yeah, bro, he's on
who
every
donated to
spreadsheet.
Eric Adams and then like a year and a half later donated to Cuomo when Adams' chances were burnt.
Adams is crashing out.
He is.
He's his whole thing was like, I got the juice. Whether or not I stand for anything, I have the rhetorical juice.
Yeah, and he has
now
no
there's
juice
just
left.
nothing left there. It's really actually kind of funny to observe.
I know.
If it weren't for the fact that our city is decaying in the meantime. All right, what's next? I think it's your turn.
I think so. Yeah. Look, this one feels overdue. I think this is the year Malcolm Moore finally gets banned from the Mariners ballpark, which I couldn't remember. Is it T-Mobile?
T-Mobile Park. Yeah.
There we go. I wrote down Safeco at first and was like, "Good God,
no!"
I don't think I've ever even. I never even went to Safeco.
Me either.
I think look, Macklemore's doubling down, tripling down.
Macklemore's on a hot streak.
He is on a hot streak.
Yeah,
and I think that the Mariners are going to see the need to distance themselves even more than they already have. Right? We have already had statements, as longtime listeners of the podcast know, from multiple Seattle area sports teams condemning him saying "fuck America."
Yeah. I'm glad we spent valuable energy on doing that.
I mean, I am glad we did that.
No, not us. I'm saying I'm glad that the sports teams of the greater Seattle area were like, this is something that we need to be on the right side of history.
They had multiple meetings about that.
Yeah. They probably paid consultant fees about that.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy stuff. All right, good one. Macklemore banned from T-Mobile Park. Do you think they'll stop playing have they already stopped playing the Macklemore song as the 7th inning stretch song? Can't Hold Us. That's the name of that song.
That's a good. Hey, if there are any Mariners fans listening to this right now,
gotta be a couple, right?
There's gotta be at least one.
Gotta be a couple.
Besides Macklemore himself.
Macklemore next on the pod? Hey, that's actually not a bad idea.
Open invite.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Words I did not think I would be saying as a 29-year-old adult.
You're not 29 yet. You got time.
I'm not. But you almost are.
Not yet. Okay, next up on the bingo card. A baseball game in the 2025 Major League Baseball regular season or postseason or all-star break, I guess. That would be crazy. Will be delayed because of an issue with an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Could be one of many issues, as we've seen in American society over the course of the last 3 to 5 months.
Mm-hmm. Hope it's just a little one.
Me too. Some sort of issue will ground a team plane, will cause some sort of airport issue for them to be able to get to where they need to go, will cause them to have to land maybe even in Pete Ricketts, Nebraska on the way from one coast to the other coast. Perhaps something will happen where it's like, oh man, we're not going to be able to make it to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Delayed.
Yeah.
That's what, it could be delayed by any amount of time. Even if it's like, it was going to be a day game and now it's a night game, that counts. I'm going to be tracking this one closely.
I know you will be. It's, this does feel likely. I know.
Does it?
I don't know. I know the
really
the number
rich
of
private jets are not really the ones that are on the shits right now.
That's true, but you also got to look out for the rest of the flights, right?
Yeah, true.
Because your plane doesn't need to break down.
Yeah, that's true.
You just need someone else's.
Get off the runway.
Yeah.
Loose lips sink ships. No, not the right metaphor.
I don't know.
Let's find one that I'm going for. Okay.
Yeah.
All it takes is 1 weak link in the chain. I got there faster than you were expecting.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
I'm
full of these like bullshit sports metaphors from when I was a kid.
Well, it's like this is what your mom says to you when you're growing up. You know, it's like, no, I'm not. It's not you who I don't trust. It's the rest of the world.
Right. It's the lowest common denominator, friends.
Exactly. It just takes
get
one.
You all arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a couple of those friends. We made it though. You're one of them, to be clear.
Of course.
All right. Next up.
Speaking of games being delayed or halted, I think we get a baseball game that is delayed by climate activists this year. Hey, look, man, things aren't getting any better.
Right on. I actually root for this one.
I do root for this one. You know, whether it's gluing your hand to home plate, you know, whether it's unfurling a banner in the middle of center field, you know, Rick Monday, not welcome here.
Yeah.
Because the flag, they burnt the flag.
Mm-hmm.
He stole the flag.
Right.
He said, here, anyway, a bit of a stretch. These are happening everywhere. I mean, I work in the, general renewable energy space. So like I see these happening in New York City and various places. Mm-hmm. And it just feels like a matter of time.
All right. Hit the people with your bona fides.
Oh, you know that.
You know it's bona fides, not bona fides?
No, it's not.
Well, you might be right on this one. I think it's one of those things where it was supposed to be said that way. And then we said it the other way for so long as culture that it's like, it's just become accepted to say it the wrong way now.
So the right way.
Who's on first? This is a good one. And I think it's one that we're going to have to start reckoning with. Speaking of, Rob Manfred being a shrewd political operator, we are at the very, very tail end of the sports can function as a distraction from societal decay era. These problems are now becoming so universal that it doesn't make sense, and it actually is bordering on at least amoral, if not immoral, to not allow these things to stretch into the sports conversation. Obviously, you and I feel that these should have been present in the sports discourse for forever, because that's what we've been doing here on this podcast. But
you may have listened to our climate change series.
If a climate change series falls in the forest and no one is there,
and it never gets put on the feed,
did it ever exist? It exists.
No.
You know where it exists, right?
On your hard drive?
The theater of the mind.
Oh, right. The marketplace of ideas.
No, it's not the marketplace of ideas.
Not yet.
That's where we were with Sauron, though. The marketplace of ideas. Yeah. This is a good one. All right, next up. Michael K. Crash Out. This is my attempt to reach across the aisle to Gen Z using a little bit of their language here.
That's good.
Crash out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means, Alex?
I do.
Crash out. Just kind of a meltdown.
Yeah.
We used to call that a meltdown back in the day, but now it's called a crash out.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means. This is
you set your watch to this.
Yeah. I mean, he does this. Arguably, he gets paid to do this.
Yes.
But I always find it to be a downright fascinating window into the human psyche, which ways he finds to crash out.
Yes.
It's just incredible work from him.
It could be about ad reads.
Could be about chicken parm.
Uh-huh.
Could be about, maybe it'll even be about the Yankees beard policy this year.
Right.
It could be about the Mets. Maybe even will likely be about the Mets and Soto.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
History says.
Who knows? He's just not a good announcer. He's not. And he's not a great radio host either. But he has staying power of a sort. And you got to tip your cap to that, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I predict he will crash out about something. And we will get to check off something from our bingo card. What is next after that? Here we go. Strap back in. Real baseball.
Yeah, here
chat.
we go. We got a couple real baseball ones. No pitcher reaches 200 innings pitched. I know we're probably not the first people to talk about this idea.
No, we are.
Okay. All right.
This is our idea. Now.
I mean,
we thought of this.
You told me that other people are talking about this, and I haven't seen any of that. So
the beauty
I
of
just
you
am assuming that we are the first person.
Is your innocence of spirit. Yeah. You come to all these ideas naturally because you don't consume any podcasts.
That's literally true.
Yeah, no one can accuse you of intellectual property
because I don't read or listen to anything.
You're basically like Socrates for baseball takes. Mm-hmm. You're the first person that thought of it.
Yeah.
He's just the first person who said that he thought of it.
I don't go around and have conversations. I walk into the cave, I look at the wall, and I close my eyes, and then I come out with more ideas. I don't know what to tell you.
No pitcher will throw 200 innings. I would be surprised if a pitcher did throw 200 innings.
Yeah.
We could have put the inverse of this on the bingo card, and it would have been more of a long shot prediction.
Yeah, you might be right about that. There were only, I think, 4 pitchers last year who reached this benchmark.
Yeah.
No one is projected to this year. So again, like this one does feel like a decent likelihood. Now, I do feel like there are always projections are like always typically on the conservative side. There will probably be 1 or 2 guys.
For example, the rightward shift.
Exactly. I got to stop agreeing to things you say before I've actually processed what they are.
No, you have to keep agreeing because we're doing a podcast. Okay. And podcast logic says you say yes and.
Yeah.
This is just improv what we do here.
This is the last great art form, some are saying.
I mean, yeah. That's why we have to be in the same physical space to do it.
No one pitches 200 innings. I do feel like there's a good shot of this happening. It's going to be strange, but the game has been trending this way for a while anyway. So let's, might as well get bingo because of it.
Who are you sweating about for this one? Like what pitchers are making you sweat this one?
As in pitchers who I think could reach that benchmark?
Yeah. Who are just like a couple of guys who you're like, this is not guaranteed because this guy might do it.
I mean, Wheeler is frankly is a pretty good case. Cease maybe? Dylan Cease?
Yeah. Did he get close last year or did he do it? I don't think he'll do it. He pitches a lot of innings, but then sometimes gets like ticky-tack injuries.
Right. Well, and also like his control can be a little hit or miss, which can limit his outings.
I suppose it depends on whether he gets traded or not, too. They trade him to a team that's like, you just pitched 6 innings now. Then that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I guess he's never hit 200 innings. So I'm not too worried about him, as I was just mentioning.
Right. Frankly, it's even ridiculous that anyone would even imply that we would have to worry about Dylan Cease.
I was mostly bringing him up as an example of who I don't have to worry about. No, but I mean, someone like Logan Gilbert.
That's a good one.
Wheeler.
Or Logan Webb.
Or Logan Webb as well. Yeah. All good candidates.
Any other Logans?
Logan Fry. No, that's not a person. David Fry. He's the hitter for the Guardians.
Yeah, he is.
But I'm not worried about him reaching 200 innings.
All right, let's move on. No one on the Rockies is in danger of throwing 200 innings. That's for damn sure. However, next on the list is a prediction about the Colorado Rockies, and that is that they won't make a single move at the trade deadline. They didn't last year. Why would they this year? Why would they do anything that makes sense for their franchise? They already made their trade. They decided to trade Nolan Jones back to the Guardians after getting 2 years of him and giving up a prospect to get him, and then they traded him back for a worse prospect. So honestly, God only knows what is going through Dick Monfort's big, beautiful brain. And I'm not God. So I'm going to predict that they're going to do the worst possible thing for their franchise at every opportunity that I have to predict. Mm-hmm. And that is not trading anyone when they're 33 games back from the Dodgers at the trade deadline.
Reasonable. Like we said, we want to have a few layups on here.
It would actually sort of surprise me if they didn't trade a single player.
Yeah.
But it's a funnier thing if I say that. So maybe this one doesn't hit. Who knows? Okay. Next up
on the bingo card, we get a story this year about a Major League Baseball front office or an employee of the Major League Baseball front office using AI to aid them with their work. I don't know exactly what this will look like.
Yeah, I can hear the quote.
But yes, what is the quote you think that it's going to be?
It's going to be some smarmy, self-important, tech futurist, tonal quote about how we pursue all avenues of making our team the best version of itself that it can possibly be. And we would be frankly ignorant to not use artificial intelligence in our process. And then they're going to proselytize about the ways that artificial intelligence can do things that humans just can't anymore. We're making the process more efficient.
Right. We are able to sift through extremely large amounts of data and come to conclusions that we simply haven't been able to before in a much quicker period of time. And that's going to allow us to streamline our operations. It may require a little internal reorganization as well. Scouts, you have 2 weeks.
That's generous.
Yeah, or it's going to be some intern who's just like plugging the scouting reports into Chat GPT and being like, who do we draft?
Do you think letting Chat GPT run the Rockies would make them better or worse?
I'd probably make them better, frankly.
That's that. Now, an open question that I have about this one, we sort of formulated this one together in the pre-show process, is does the quote just have to say that they're using AI, or are we going to judge the quote on its merit and determine whether or not that's actually real AI or it's just like an algorithm? Because this is a thing that's going on in society now, where it's like we call this AI because that's just free PR, because everyone's talking about AI all the time and it's a flashpoint terminology.
Right.
But it's just like not everything that's done by a computer is large language model iterative artificial intelligence.
Right. Like generative AI.
Generative. Yes.
Yeah.
Iterative is what it actually is.
Right. Yes. I lean towards some type of generative AI.
Okay.
Right.
Because it has to actually be that.
I
it's
think
not
so.
bespoke
Yes.
AI appliances, but for front offices.
Right. Like I would like a team to be like, we are partnering with Google to use Gemini to better understand.
Dude, StatCast already is.
Yeah.
StatCast presented by Google Cloud.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Right. Grok says we should draft this 17-year-old.
Will Sam Altman be photographed with a Major League Baseball GM? No, but if he was, it would be Michael Elias.
Yeah.
Okay, good one. Next up. A player helps catch a live animal on a Major League Baseball field.
This is a great one.
So this is a long storied history. There's a long storied history of this in sports. You know, last year, a player didn't do it, and it wasn't a mammal, but it was a living thing. In fact, many living things. There was a swarm of bees that took over. We just quickly reverted back to nature at Chase Field in Arizona. And the man came out and he yucked it up with the crowd, the beekeeper, and great movie. And
that is a great movie.
It's actually not a great movie, but it is interesting.
Yeah.
Jason Statham is up to some incredibly weird shit. Anyway, the beekeeper came out. He took care of the bees, I think safely. I think he saved the bees. I think he brought them with him.
I think so.
That'd been crazy if he just executed
them all one by one on the field.
And then, there was the Coors cat a few years ago where the cat ran out, and then this happened at Yankee Stadium as well, where there's just a cat. The poor cat didn't know how they ended up on the field.
Yeah.
Looked really scared. I think this year a player is going to help in the process of capturing this animal and returning it safely home. That's just my feeling.
This is great. The one that I thought about including on my bingo card and that I opted against in part because of this was like a live animal as like the team mascot, or as like the rally, mascot or whatever, right? And I think that this could feed quite nicely into that, right?
This could go hand in hand.
The cat runs on the field. Aaron Judge helps save it. All of a sudden, the Yankees go on a 12-game winning streak.
Well, I don't want it to be Aaron Judge.
I know you don't. But you got to take the wins where you get them.
That's true. I will still happily check it off my bingo card if it is Aaron Judge. The thing that I had in my mind when I wrote this down was when Manu Ginobili swatted that bat out of the air. You know about this?
No.
At a Spurs game, there was a bat that was flying around because, What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Bat gets into the stadium. What are you going to capture all the bats? No, you just hope that the bats don't come down during a game. Well, the bat decided to come down during a game.
Mm-hmm.
No one could get it. There was all these guys running around on the court with like nets, like from SpongeBob when they're trying to catch jellyfish. They're trying to catch the bat like this. They can't do it. Long delay. Manu Ginobili walks out onto the court, swats it out of the air with his bare hand. This is a real thing that happened.
I believe it.
I implore you to look it up on youtube.com. No free ads.
Yeah.
No free ads for YouTube. It was honestly one of the swaggiest things
That's
I've ever
really
seen
cool.
an athlete.
That's
do.
really
Manu
cool.
Ginobili's so cool.
I don't imagine a baseball player does anything nearly that cool, but I do think they will be involved.
Maybe with their glove?
Maybe with their glove. Maybe with their bat. Bat on bat.
Bat on bat crime. Gee Willikers, Batman. All right, what's up next?
A conditional sale of the Tampa Bay Rays falls through, right? This is, I know Sternberg has adamantly said, this team
Slippery Stu. He just doesn't want to give up
he
on the
really
squad.
doesn't. You know, I wonder how old Stu's going to wriggle his way out of this jam. I think that maybe there's a handshake agreement. Maybe there's talk of him finally relinquishing control of the team, and then he reneges on it, or maybe the team actually takes a look at the financials and is like, whoa, this is all just Chat GPT. Whatever it is, I don't know the circumstances, but that's not what's on the bingo card. All I care about is that it falls through.
Great. Good one.
Awesome.
Last year, we predicted that a team would get sold, and they didn't. This year, you're predicting that a team
doesn't
sold.
get sold. Almost gets sold and doesn't.
They can never say that we don't learn from our mistakes.
Exactly.
22. This is the final one because 23 and 24
bring us home.
We're already rolled over from last year. Here is the final item on the Tipping Pitches 2025 preseason prediction bingo card. Will that fit on a hat? Probably not. An owner says the word woke in a press conference or in an official statement. I'll rope that in too. They use the word woke. I don't know why they're going to do it. I don't know what context. I don't know if they're going to be pro-woke or anti-woke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to say, I woke up this morning and I decided I didn't want to sell the Rays. 2 birds, 1 stone. They use the word woke, Alex, in a press conference. Maybe they're singing along to the famous Beyonce and Nicki Minaj song and they say, I woke up like this.
Mm-hmm.
Any use of the word woke. Don't say the word parlay. I'm going to bleep that on the podcast, but do say the word woke.
Mm-hmm.
John Fisher, John Stanton, John Middleton,
right.
Other owners not
named John. You can't cut trees
John.
down anymore because of wokeness.
You can't take out a bigger loan to build your stadium, which is now delayed, check, against your gap stock, which is plummeting because of wokeness.
This is gonna happen. It's gonna suck when it happens.
It's gonna be so terrible.
It's gonna be really, really awful. But it will help us get bingo. So it's hard to say whether or not it's good or bad.
We're a self-interested bunch. All right. Do you think this was good?
I do think it was good. I think we outdid ourselves this time.
There is a link in the description where you can play along. I implore you to do it. It's honestly a great feeling when one of these things happens and you get to check it off from your bingo card. Print it out, put it on your fridge. Many people did that last year. That was a cool thing that I just didn't expect to happen. We're going to be passing around our own version that will be the official Tipping Pitches bingo card. Once we hit bingo, that's when we call it. That's when we call the race. Likely you guys, one of you will hit it before us because there's a lot of permutations out there, hopefully, as more people play along at home. Anything else to say about the bingo card before I plug all the other stuff?
I just
confuse the shit out of people.
I just want to say, look, this is a communal effort. We cannot watch every owner's press conference.
True.
To see if they are saying woke, but we know that you guys all are.
Uh-huh.
And so, look, we're all a team here. If you see something happen that warrants a cross off on the bingo card, please write in.
In other words,
let us know.
See something, say something.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Bingo card, check. You can play GoFundMe, check. Patreon.com/tippingpitches, check. Tippingpitchespod@gmail.com, 785-422-5881, check. Submit questions for the Power Hour, which is recording, Alex, in 1 week. You're running out of time, folks. And I'm running out of confidence that this will be a good segment. So you better start submitting better questions.
Yeah.
Some good ones, some bad ones, some so-so ones, some great ones, maybe. I want more great ones.
Yeah.
I want 5 out of 5 masterpiece questions.
Don't make me grok it.
We have a staunch commitment to not using AI on this podcast, but Alex will get dangerous on me.
Don't force my hand.
I'll submit a bunch of fake questions if I have to. This is going to be like Shattered Glass. That's a reference only for you and me. Sincere thank you to everybody for listening and supporting the show during this off season. By the next time we talk, Major League Baseball games will be in full force. You know what's funny?
We didn't even talk about it. The season has started. Season has started.
Talk about Dodgers and Cubs. Yeah. Congratulations to the Dodgers on starting 2-0. Maybe we do need to break up the Dodgers. I actually not sure. We obviously, as the season gets going, we're going to spend a significant amount of time talking about the full-fledged return of Major League Baseball. And then over on the Patreon feed, we're a little bit behind because Alex was under the weather when we were supposed to put out an episode last week, but we're going to put another one out in a couple days. And then once the season kicks in, we will be doing 3 Up, 3 Down on the Patreon feed every other week, so twice a month. And that is a segment where each of us respectively chooses 3 things that are bringing us joy in the baseball world, 3 things that are taking away from our joy in the baseball world, and we share them, and we shoot the shit, and we have fun. And I think you'll have fun too. Patreon.com/tippingpitches. That's all she wrote. We'll be back next week with Tipping Pitches Power Hour Part 2. I don't know why I just got the urge to say it in French, but I don't speak French. So we're going to end the podcast now. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Rodriguez. Tipping Pitches.
Tipping Pitches.
This is the one that I love the most.
Tipping Pitches.
So we'll see you next week. See ya!